We're live on Hog Out, and I'm just watching a little bit of cricket there as RCB are taking the game away from Gujarat Titans. I can't believe it. Just the power play being sensational. But we're going to talk about last night's games, and we're going to have a big preview between Chennai Super Kings and Sunrisers Hyderabad. It's a cracker of an evening we've got in store for you. So let's find out what we've got for you on the other side. Right, we're going to be quick with our previews. What's the first game we've got for you from yesterday? It is Delhi Capitals winning by 10 runs over the Mumbai Indians. And I have got some harsh words to say about the Mumbai Indians bowlers bowling in the power play. They were bowling to Fraser McGurk, who absolutely annihilated them in the power play, was hitting them in all parts of the park, if that came out pretty well. 84 off 27 deliveries. But there's one thing about Fraser McGurk. He's got his weight on his front leg when he's waiting for the bowler to come in. What does that tell you? When the weight is over that front leg, it tells me that he's not a very good back foot player when the ball's in the body. It looks as though he's not going to be a player that plays the pull shot or hook shot comfortably. How many bounces did the opening bowlers or the bowlers in the power play, the quicks, bowl to Fraser McGurk? They bowled 2. There was one slower one quick one from Hardik Pandya, and he missed them both. He was not in position to play the pull shot. So, bowlers in the IPL, when you're bowling to Mr. Fraser McGurk, try and bowl a couple of short ones out the body. You've got 2 up your sleeve, in and over. Test him with that. Even come around the wicket. Bowl a few Yorkers around the wicket at his toes and then a few short ones out the body. All of a sudden, that weight on the front leg, he might not be as confident. So that's one thing. And before we go on to the preview of the other game, Rafiq Salam. What a wonderful performance from him last night. He got put in as the impact player late in the game, and he saved the day for the Delhi Capitals. 3 overs he bowled, or he bowled 4 overs, but there were 3 overs before the 18th over that he bowled that all went for 7 or less, and he picked up 2 vital wickets. Rafiq Salam, well done to you, mate. And hopefully Ricky Ponting, my ex-captain, gives you a lot more opportunities because you deserve it, young fella. But the Mumbai Indians lost it simply because they didn't have the good plans against Fraser McGurk. He took the game away. Right, the other game that we had last night, my mob, Rajasthan Royals beating Lucknow Super Giants, but I thought Lucknow were probably going to have the better team on the night. But when we look at this year's IPL, especially the last part of the IPL that's being played, opening batters are going really hard in the power play. If we look at last night, Lucknow Super Giants were 2 for 46 at the end of the power play phase. And Rahul was 20 off 19 deliveries. Now, Rahul, a senior player, yes, he had a pretty good innings out the back end of it, but 20 off 19 in the power play, that was costly. They were 14 runs short out that power play. They should have been around 60, 65. And then if you look at the end of the game, they were 14, 20 runs short. So KL Rahul, that's a bit of an issue in the power play overs. You've got to take the bull by the horns. You've got to be a little bit aggressive, even though you've lost early wickets, because there are so many high scores being put on the board, and opposition teams are chasing down 200 quite easily nowadays. So Rahul can look at that. And we had some good performances from the Rajasthan Royals batsman last night. Sanju Samson, yet again, 71 off 33. This kid He's got to be the wicketkeeper in India's World Cup team in front of Rahul. There is no doubt about that. Or should I say, he should be playing in front of Rahul because I've got Pant in there as the keeper as well. Sanju Samson and Pant in that middle order, left-hand, right-hand combination. Watch out. And Surya Kumar Yadav around that particular area. Fantastic. And I just want to have special mention to Jurul as well last night. He's had a tough time of it in the IPL. Rajasthan Royals have given the confidence with him. They've stuck with him. And he came in front of the big hitters of Hetmeyer and Powell last night. Did I get that right? Yes. And got a 50 and got them over the line. So well done to Jurel and Sandeep Sharma. I'm loving what he's got to offer. Him back in this Rajasthan Royals lineup gives them great depth. Okay, let's just have a quick look at what's happening over at Gujarat. Gujarat Titans are getting absolutely thumped by Bangalore. I can't believe that. I just can't believe that, though we had some good performances with the bat from the Gujarat players. We had the youngster making 100, Gujarat 200 for 3. And the youngster coming in, Saiti, Saya Sundarasan, 84 off 49. He batted wonderfully. This kid's got a lot of talent. He's only young. The only thing that I'd like to see is that strike rate come up a little bit quicker earlier on, but that's going to come with maturity. But because he's got a bit of youth behind him, I don't think that you should be expecting him to get a higher strike rate at the moment. That should be done by the senior players around him. And I thought Gill in the power play overs was too slow. And if you look at their RCB team, the way that they planned against Gill, they had square fielders behind the wicket rather than those fine ones. And he wasn't looking to go fine. He wasn't looking to ramp the ball. And they were able to control it with good line and length. Gill did not take a risk, and it put pressure on the other batsmen. And that pressure was put on this young fella, Sundarasan, and he handled it really well. So well done to Saya Sundarasan. The other guy that I really like to see is Saiki Shaw. I want to have a quick chat about Saiki Shaw bowling to Virat Kohli, who dominated tonight. Virat Kohli took him on a couple of times, hitting for 2 sixes. Saiki Shaw was trying to bowl a little bit quicker into the wicket. It wasn't working. 2 balls left. He had the composure to slow it up and use the drift, drop and turn and back his strengths to Virat Kohli and quieten him down out the back end. So Virat Kohli has been dominant tonight. Brilliant innings, but I just want to give a big shout out to Saiki Shaw, the way that he came back under pressure against one of the legends. And RCB have just won another game. They've beaten Gujarat Titans. So let's leave it out there. Well done to Virat Kohli and well done to Jakes. He got 100 after dropping a couple of catches earlier on today. So he's been a good choice coming in at number 3. Virat Kohli, 70 off 44 deliveries. That was a wonderful partnership. So well done to RCB, winning by 9 wickets. But I don't think we should talk about RCB and Gujarat Titans for much longer because I don't think they're going to be in the top 4 out the end of it. But these 2 teams that we're going to chat about now, CSK and SRH, they are going to be in the hunt for the final 4. We've got a guest on coming up in a minute. But one thing I want to talk about in this particular fixture, it's the Chennai Super Kings. They need to turn things around. They've had a couple of losses on the trot. But if they're going to beat Sunrisers Hyderabad tonight, they've got to take wickets early. They've got to have a game plan early. And I think Rahman's got to come out of the team tonight and they've got to bring Tekshana in. And with Tekshana, you've got Paddy Rana there. I think Chahar bowls the first over, might bowl the second over from one end with a bit of swing. But these 2 bowlers here have to bowl with Chahar in the power play overs. They've got to get Abhishek Sharma out and Travis Head out early and put pressure on Klasan coming in those middle overs, where these 2 will be able to bowl to Klasan in the middle overs. So the matchup for me is Head, Sharma, Klasan against Paddy Rana and Tekshana. They've got to get those particular players out early because Sharma's got a strike rate of 190. Head's got a strike rate of 212. Klasan's got a strike rate of 200. None of the Chennai Super Kings batsmen have got strike rates of that calibre. Dubey has got a strike rate of 169, the best out of the Chennai Super Kings. So if you're going to win tonight, you've got to get early wickets of Sunrisers Hyderabad batting lineup, and you've got to take risks. You've got to change it up and get these two bowlers to bowl in the power play. Okay, let's get the special guest in. He's from Bangladesh, but he's over in Bangkok studying, and he goes for the Chennai Super Kings. While we're waiting for him to get up, if you want to get live with me on the chat box, just fill out the form in Google Live. And if you want to ask me some questions, get them down on the comments there. Rahul Aurora, hello to you. Good to see you here with me again. Wafi, how are you going? You better get yourself off mute. Yep,
yeah, I'm doing good.
Yep, you're going good.
Yeah.
Are you happy with RCB winning tonight?
I don't mind.
You don't mind?
RCB, they're out of the race. So.
They're out of the race, yes. And Destructive Error just got on there and
said... but I'm really impressed with Will Jacks.
Yep, Will Jacks. Yep, I am too. One thing with RCB tonight, when they were bowling, I was surprised that he wasn't bowled when Gujarat Titans had two left-handers out the crease. They had Miller and Sundararajan batting out the same time. They could have had Jarks there where the wicket was holding up, especially during the day and turning.
Yeah.
Him turning the ball away could have been a great option. Do you agree?
I've seen Will Jacks. I think Will Jacks is more of a batsman than a bowler. He's like a part-time bowler because if you see, his bowling isn't something to be like really special about. I think his batting is what is more important and crucial for RCB.
Yeah, I think Jacks is going to probably be a better option than someone like a Glenn Maxwell. Glenn Maxwell has been sensational throughout the tournament. You're on mute there, young fella. He's been sensational over the last year and a bit, but he's inconsistent. I think Jacks could be a more consistent player than Maxwell. So I think they'll invest in him moving down the track. So that's one thing. And Destructive Error, what is your take on Jacks hitting to Rashid Khan in the last over? I just think it's absolutely sensational. I slightly didn't see all of it. But when you're taking on someone like Rashid Khan, it just shows that you've got good quality against spin. And I like the way that Virat Kohli in the power play took Rashid in his over and found a boundary as well, trying to work with the 2 and a 1. When it was out of the power play overs, they knew that Rashid Khan was going to be the one that was going to get wickets. And they had the field deep, so they were pushing ones out to deep mid-wicket, looking for the 2s, really trying to put pressure on Rashid Khan. And that's how you play in IPL cricket. You take the risk in the power play overs when the field's up, but when your best bowler is bowling where the conditions suit him a little bit more and he's got a little bit more protection with the field, you just work the 1s and 2s. So well done to Jacks there. Good observation there. Right, let's get into the questions before we get the toss of the coin between Chennai and Sunrisers Hyderabad tonight. What's your first question there, Wafi?
Wait, Hoggy, I wanted to mention that you mentioned about Theekshana being introduced into the lineup, but I feel like they're gonna keep Faze into the in the lineup because Faze's no certificate objection was extended till 1st of May. And I think this is probably because they want Faze in the SRH match. So I feel like Faze is going to be in the lineup. And so my question is, do you think Faze and Pathirana should be bowled out like more overs in the power play compared to the death overs? Because they're considered to be bowlers for the death overs. But given the power hitting of SRH, Klassen, Travis Head, do you think they should be introduced earlier?
Look, I think you've brought up a really good point there, because Fizz is really good in the desk. Same with Paddy Rana, but I think you might be able to save Fizz to the back end now and bowl him in the middle overs rather than Paddy Rana with a spin, and get Paddy Rana in there with Chahar and try and break Travis Head and Sharma as well. And I think with that slinging action, if he can get that low trajectory with the ball swinging in, I'm pretty sure that he'll be able to pick up Travis Head with a steering in swinging Yorker, because he plays away from his body. And I think with Sharma, he might be able to get him on that front toe LBW early. They've got to take a risk with Paddy Rana in the power play. He hasn't done it too often, and if you're going to beat SRH and really stifle their explosiveness up front, where they get away to a good start, you've got to bowl them. That's if Sunrisers Hyderabad bat first. If they bat second and they've got runs on the board, they might go back to their normal game plan and have Paddy Rana and Fizz being able to bowl with the spinners through the middle overs and the death overs as well. And they might try and use Chahar to bowl 3 overs in the power play rather than the 2 that he bowled the other night. And that's the thing with Chennai Super Kings, which I really, really worry about, is Chahar. They bowled only 2 overs last game. He's there's no versatility with him. They can't. They don't want to use him in other areas of the game, and that is a big issue, because that's a lack of resources. If he's only going to bowl 2 overs, he shouldn't be in your team. How do you feel about that?
I totally agree with you, but I feel like 2 overs in the power play for Fizz and 2 overs in the power play for Pathirana and 2 overs back in the last 4 overs of the game. I feel like that would probably, if Fizz or Pathirana can create the pressure and get Travis Head out, because if you see, if Travis Head, Klassen, Markram and Abhishek Sharma fails, then the SRH batting lineup isn't that deep, except probably Pat Cummins and Shahbaz Ahmed in the end. But except that, I feel like SRH, if the big 4 doesn't perform, then 250 might be reduced to 150, for example.
Yeah, definitely. And I think if you win the toss too, you've got to put runs on the board, because Sunrisers Hyderabad, anything over 200, they've sort of been a little bit edgy with the run chase. So when they're setting the total, they feel I feel as though there's not much pressure on them, or not as much pressure on them, because they don't have that scoreboard pressure. They can go out and play with a little bit more freedom. Whereas when you've got a little bit of scoreboard pressure, all of a sudden there's a little bit of doubt there as well. It's a bit like you're studying. You want to go and study medicine, and hopefully you do it in Australia. When you go to those big exams, if you're thinking about the end result, all of a sudden you're not focused on that particular question that you've got to answer there. It's the same with when you're chasing. If you're looking at the total rather than looking at the ball or looking at the over where you're presently involved in right now, and just trying to do your best in that, and try and control what you can control there, all of a sudden your mind's away from the actual thing that you're meant to do, and that's to hit that ball or treat that ball as best you can and play it the best you can. So that's a great question first up. And Akhil Nayak, slower deliveries might work against Travis Head tonight. Yes, they might work. Totally agree with that, especially at Chennai wicket where it can hold up as well. And there's probably another option that you might be able to use tonight. And if Moeen Ali plays, use Moeen Ali in the first 2 overs, because Travis Head will want to go after him. And if Moeen Ali can just get that ball on the right line and get Travis Head to play across it with a little bit of overspin, I think that's a big weapon against Travis Head early as well, because that new ball can have that extra bounce. Wafy, being a CSK fan, I'm just thinking, would you risk just weakening the batting lineup a little bit, or should I say, have Moeen Ali as in the impact list, but bring Tarkor into the team as another option with the seam, but have him bat lower down in the order, so that if Chennai Super Kings, their top order does the job, and then they're in the last 4 overs and they've got Dhoni and Tarkor to come and finish it off, all of a sudden, instead of playing Ali, this is if they bowl second, they can bring Tekshana in as the better option with spin.
I suggest another option. That is, CSK hasn't taken Mitchell Statner. And Daryl Mitchell has been underperforming a bit. So why not take Mitchell Statner into the lineup? Because he can be used as a spinner and also as a batsman at the late end.
That's not a bad option either, because you if Markram and Klasan are batting in that middle order, he's a good option to take the ball away from them, and that extra height that he has will make it a little bit more difficult to try and hit down the ground, because he might hit the bat higher up, and if they want to go across the line, that extra bounce that he creates will also cause a few problems. The only thing with that is I'd rather Mitchell in there, because I just think he adds a little bit more with the bat, even though he hasn't set the world alight. I just like his height. I like his reach. And Lucknow Super Giants, Sunrisers Hyderabad don't have real decent spin to be able to trouble him. And I think that with that extra reach tonight, he might be able to dominate Sunrisers Hyderabad at Chennai. That's where the way I'm thinking. And we've got Aknal Naik again here. Moeen has been underutilised as a batsman. Promoting him up the order might be a good option. Okay, well, that's not a bad thing either, is it, Wifey? Because you bring Moeen Ali up and put him where Mitchell is, and then you can have Mitchell, Satner, Tekshana, a couple of those options as impact players, just to give yourself a bit of a buffer with whatever you're doing first, to bring one of them in to be able to stabilise the situation, whether you're bowling or batting, to utilise those strengths. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think this is actually a good option, because Moeen Ali is a responsible player. He's going to make sure that CSK doesn't lose much more wickets, and he's going to keep on hitting as well. So I think it might be a good option as well.
Yeah, definitely. Now, who's won the toss? SRH have chosen to field. That is a surprise for me. So, are you happy with that being a Chennai Super Kings fan?
I think this is probably. I would say SRH has taken the right option, because probably the due factor is what they're looking into.
Yes. Yeah. You're probably right there, but yeah. Actually, it'd be interesting to see what effect Dew does have tonight. But I just think if there's Dew going to take effect tonight, I still reckon Paddy Rana and your young fella Mustafiza from Bangladesh will be okay in those back end overs. And if there is Dew tonight, that's when you utilise spin in the power play overs. Get them to try and get as much as you possibly can out of the wicket. I'm just trying to get to the team, see if they've made any changes. Haven't been able to see that yet. So you're a little bit worried about Dew. You're a little bit worried about the Dew tonight.
Can you repeat?
Yeah. You're a little bit worried about the Dew tonight.
Yeah, probably because we have seen in the LSG game the Dew factor coming quite handy for them.
Yeah. I just got some Vivan Segal. Do you know a Vivan Segal? He's got a comment here. I have a question for Wifey. How do you connect with cricket on a personal level? What have you done to promote cricket in your community? So with that, that's a good question. Do you play cricket yourself?
I do. The thing is, when I was in Bangladesh, it was a huge thing. Cricket is a
Yeah.
huge thing in Bangladesh, and I didn't have to like promote anything in Bangladesh, but probably in Bangkok, to some extent, I've done it.
Yep.
So we're opening. So I've tried to open up a team in my school, and he's part of the team. So probably that's why he asked this question.
Yeah.
So cricket is definitely not the biggest sport here, but since I'm studying in a British school, they love cricket. They know cricket. So yeah.
So you're trying to promote it over in Bangladesh. That is fantastic. Brilliant stuff. I'm loving that. And that's the thing. We want to spread the game around the world as much as possible because it's a beautiful game. And there's a lot of expats from the subcontinent that are going to America, Europe, and so forth, where the game's really expanding. So they're taking the game out there as well. It's absolutely fantastic. Right, now you've got another question while I'm waiting for the teams to come up. What was the other question that you had in line for me?
Another question I want to ask you is it just the pitch, or did the batsmen change their intent and approach? Like, why didn't we have 250 plus scores before in IPL or in international level?
I think the intent has definitely changed, and I think the intent has changed more in the power play overs. We're seeing teams get close to 100 after 6 overs. I think there's been 2 games where they've been where there's been 100 scored halfway through the 8th over, and that is absolutely ridiculous where the game's gone. There was one game where KKR were batting and Phil Salt and Narayan were going at it, and I thought they were going to make 100. 300. They were 150 after 10 overs. I thought 300 was on the cards there, and it's not going to be too long before 300's there. But I think it's a mixture of the intent, but I think it's also some of the bowlers not being able to handle the pressure. So all of a sudden, fast bowlers have got 2 bounces up their sleeve. They're not using it effectively. And when you've got 2 bounces up your sleeve, I'm noticing that batsmen aren't going to the ramp shot as much as they used to because they know that the fast bowler's got that another ball up his sleeve to bowl short. So they've got to use the Yorker a lot more than what they've been doing, but they've got to execute it better. You can't hit your Yorker out, middle, and off. You've got to be hitting leg stump or the toes. And if you're going for the toes, if it goes down leg side and you miss it by an inch and it's a wide, too bad. At least you've had the courage to go to the toes where it's harder to hit, or you go to that wide line. So for me, that it's the bowlers as well that haven't been able to handle the pressure, and I think that's a big one. And well done to the batters for putting the pressure on. Yes, the conditions do play a part as well, but I just think there are too many balls on that good length, especially in the power play overs, for too long. And Dale from RCB tonight, he was sensational in those early overs. He was going wide. He was using the slower balls. When he executed the bouncer, he got it nice and high, and that's what you got to do. So, so for me, it's batsmen taking charge, but bowlers have been terrible. And I mentioned someone like Sandeep Sharma. Sandeep Sharma is someone that you expect not to dominate in IPL, but he has been the core of our Rajasthan Royals bowling attack. He's not tall, but he bowls a slower bouncer. He's got a good quicker bouncer, a skiddy, and he changed his lines and lengths, and he's got a perfect Yorker as well. So, they're better bowlers than Sandeep Sharma out there, but yet he seems to be leading the way. Before we go into the next question, we'll just go through CSK's team. Jinka Rahane, Gaik Award, obviously, Daryl Mitchell, Moeen Ali, Shivam Dubey, Jadeja, Dhoni, Chahar, Deshpande, Rahman, and Patty Rana. So Chennai Super Kings have got no interest in what I had to say tonight with that. And one thing that we do know from SRH is Markanday is missing out, and they've gone for an extra batsman. So their team is Abhishek Sharma, Travis Head, Aidan Markram, Klasan, Reddy. I really love Nitish Reddy. Abdul Samad, Shabazz Ahmed, Pat Cummins, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Unad Kat, and Nat Rajan. So the Sunrisers Hyderabad have gone in there with 2 left-arm quicks, which I think is a good option against the Chennai Super Kings. And I'm quite surprised that they haven't gone with Markanday. I think you've got to go in with a leg spinner, just with that variation. I just think with finger spin, especially with the likes of Daryl Mitchell and Dubey in the team, I just think that's easier hitting options for those 2 particular bowlers, as well as Moeen Ali as well. So what do you think of those teams, Wafi?
I think this was expected. To be honest, I would have loved Mitchell Satner to be in the 11. But as you mentioned, I think they also thought the same way as you, that they want to keep Daryl Mitchell in the lineup. Probably they still have that belief that Daryl Mitchell can score runs for them. And except that, I wasn't expecting any changes in the CSK lineup.
Yeah. I just think I think Chennai Super Kings, when they're at their best, I think they've got better bowling options than Sunrisers Hyderabad. I think Bhuvneshwar Kumar is going okay at the moment, especially in the power play overs, and he's getting his form back. Pat Cummins is good with the slower balls in those middle overs in the back end. But Unad Kat and Nat Rajan, I just think they can really go after those 2, as well as Reddy, Samad, and Shabazz Ahmed, if they use those options as well. I just like Patty Rana and Rahman bowling in the death overs, even if you have Dew tonight when Sunrisers Hyderabad are batting second. If there's a big run chase on, those 2 will be able to handle the pressure out the back end. Do you agree?
I think they need to handle the pressure. I think they need to handle the pressure at the death over. I think it's going to be similar to the LSG game. If Fiz and Patirana can handle the pressure and show their experience, then we might be able to defend the score.
Yeah, actually, there's one thing that I'm going to be interested in too. Who Chennai are going to open up against Head? But if I was Chahar, I'd be starting on leg stump and swinging the ball away from Travis Head, and I'd try and have 2 slips in play, especially in the first 3 balls to Travis Head. Might even do it to Abhishek Sharma as well. But yeah, you sort of have a backward deep point to Abhishek Sharma, but 2 slips in play, probably a first slip and a third slip, and make him play away from his body, because he likes to play square through there. And with the ball moving away, it will be hard for him to control. So Chahar's got that ball to move away tonight, and I think he can help get early inroads. But you've got to have Paddy Rama bowl the second one up front. Arana Rishi, what's a decent score on this pitch? Well, I haven't seen the pitch at the moment, but if it's a Chennai pitch and it's a slow one tonight, I still reckon you've got to get around about 190, 200 on the board to really give SRH a bit of a scare. Anything less than that, they get off to a good start, bang, they'll get the runs early. What's your next question there, Wifey?
So my next question was, have you seen Sam Curran's remarks on cricket turning into baseball?
I actually haven't seen those. I haven't seen those comments. But can you enlighten me on that?
So Punjab chased down 262, right, against KKR.
Yeah.
That was the high successful chase. So Sam Curran said that cricket is turning into like baseball. So now my question to you is, as a fan, would you enjoy watching this batting friendly pitches, or would you like to go back into a sporty pitch where the batsmen and bowlers both have control over the game?
Well, it's a good comment, that one, because if you look at the stats in baseball, all of a sudden you look at Moneyball, it's about getting onto the base as much as possible. So baseball's probably taking a step back and trying to get to the base hits, where cricket was trying to get the ones and twos, and now we're trying to get the home runs. But one thing for me, I think I'd like to see bowlers having a little friendlier conditions, and I'd like to see batsmen trying to turn ones into twos and take the fielding on, because growing up back in my day watching one day cricket, we didn't have the ropes back then in these Australian fields. So remember that if you think about it, the ropes bring the field in about 5 metres here in Australia. Some of our boundaries can go to 80 metres, 90 metres. So you had someone like a Craig McDermott. People probably don't remember him, but he had one of the strongest arms you ever saw. It was an 85-metre throw, flat, straight over the keeper's, over the stumps to the keeper, run out. So I'd like to see wickets just go back slightly to a bowler's favour, not too much, but just enough for the batsman to think, right, I've got to try and rotate the strike here or get my twos to bring the fielding in. That's the throwing aspect of T20 cricket in this IPL is sort of a dying art, and that's the one thing I'm worrying about. Do you like I love good batting that gets where the ball's getting hit for six every now and then. But I also want to see good fielding, and that's one art of the game that I'm worried that's going out of it here in the IPL. Would you agree with me on that?
Yeah, it has been a bit sloppy, I think.
Yeah. Well, there was a comment today.
But
Cameron Green took. Yeah. Go on. Yeah.
I think this has been probably due to the pressures batsmen have created. Now the thing is that for the fielders, they're always thinking that you need to take these chances, and this pressure is what making them miss easy catches.
Yeah, actually, the other thing is too. I don't think fielders are switched on as much, and they're not as lively as we've seen in previous editions because of all the boundaries that have been hit. And there was a catch that Patidar Nelly took today. He saved 6 runs, but he's running around the wicket, running around the boundary. He takes it. I can't remember who hit it. I think it was Sunrisers, and he's taken it and thrown it back into the field of play. And I think it was Duplessis out cover. He was only just jogging, wasn't really, didn't have any intent. But if he actually had more intent to get out there and sprint it out there and got in a position to help Patidar, he would have taken that catch easily with the ball being thrown in. So those are the little aspects that I think IPL cricket can really improve on. If you go back, you go back to when Australia won the 1999, 2003, and 2007 World Cups. It was the fielding that got us over the line, and we just lost a friend in Andrew Simons a year ago. But there were highlights of Andrew Simons in the field. And I could tell you by the player on the other side of the ground backing up Andrew Simons about to throw down the stumps whether we won that game or not, because it was the energy that we had out in the field and the way that everyone was backing up throws and getting into position, which made a difference. And I don't see that in the IPL. And even Mumbai Indians last night, Tim David threw the ball in. Kishan didn't take the stump, didn't take the ball. No one was backing up for overthrows, and that's another little misdemeanor for the Mumbai Indians.
But we have seen Tristan Stubbs saving
Yep.
a 6 against Gujarat Titans, and that's what cost. That's what made Delhi win against Gujarat. So, as you
Mm.
mentioned, I think fielding is really important. And from Bangladesh, it's always you blame the fielders. We have, I think it's a bit embarrassing, but we missed like 7 catches in the last Test series against Sri Lanka. So yes, you need to grab those chances.
Now, saying that, I'll come to you, Harish T, in a couple of seconds. But because this is important, important point. I've been over to Bangladesh, commentated, and sometimes the fielding does let you down. So backyard cricket, all the cricket that you play in the backyard in Bangladesh, is there a huge importance in fielding, or is it other rules that come into play to get a wicket?
It's mostly batsman's game,
Yeah,
but we play short pitch cricket sometimes. That time sometimes it's one bounce, one catch. So you don't
yeah.
have to like grab it. You just have to be proactive and run and try to hold the ball. Yeah.
Well, that's a rule change. Anyone listening in Bangladesh and you're playing backyard cricket or out in the park, no more one hand, one bounce. We've got to get the fielding up to standard. Now
Yeah,
you've got
exactly.
one more. You've got one more question about one of your fast bowlers that
Yeah.
we're talking about. I'll just go to Harish T here. I would like MSD to promote himself out top, second town by. Why isn't he promotes himself out the top? Any reason behind it? I think he's got to come in around about the 14th over for me, and really try and take the game. I think the crowd deserve it, and it would just be good to see him being able to have be out there for 36 balls and see if he can still do the big business. And the thing is, if he gets on song and he's hitting the ball like he has been throughout the tournament, he could make a brilliant 50. He could probably even make 100 with 36 balls to go and make it the quickest 100 that we've seen with a player coming in the back end. What do you reckon, Wafey?
The thing is, he's too old now.
He's too
I mean,
old. There's nothing too old. Come on.
yeah, no,
He's not
exactly,
even.
exactly. No. The thing is, he's still the best. The thing is, he can't like probably. We should consider his physical condition right now as well.
Well, he
Definitely,
should.
he's
He
hitting the
should
ball
get off.
really.
He should get off the cream biscuits then.
No, I mean, I think coming second down and then continuing till the last, it's gonna be really hard for him. I mean,
Yeah.
let him do what he's doing best, and he knows what to do. So, yeah,
Yep, he does. Now you've got another question for me.
yeah. So one of our fast bowlers, Shariful Islam. So
Yep.
he was recently really good against New Zealand.
Oh no, he's gone. Yep. So just there, we've lost you there. So Shariful Islam, he was asked to go to Lucknow Super Giants, and basically he wasn't allowed to go from Bangladesh Cricket Board. Now I find this very disappointing in a sense that Bangladesh is on the border of India. He could fly over there if he's not going to play a game for Lucknow Super Giants. Same with Rahman down at Chennai Super Kings. They can quickly fly them back, and they can participate in that particular game that's about to be played. But they should be playing in the IPL if they get that opportunity, because they're under pressure. The bowlers in this IPL are getting pounded. They have to be on their money, and it's going to really improve their skills. So why would you not give them a harder, the harder game, where they can really hone in their game on an execution basis, but also on a mental basis, handling those tough situations. So Bangladesh cricket, please turn that around and get Islam over to the IPL and let him play there. because it will be better for him than playing against Zimbabwe, especially with the big teams that you're going to play in the World T20 the T20 World Cup. Karan Singh, Joanne, evening, Mr. Hogg. Caribbean Cricket tweeted about the quality of pitches in IPL and kind of dared the batsman to push the score beyond 150. Your thoughts on this? Caribbean Cricket tweeted about the quality of pitches in IPL and kind of dared the batsman to push the score. Now, I can't see that tweet, but I just think the quality of pitches in the IPL at the moment are probably a little too flat. I like the one there at Gujarat today. I felt the pitch still had something for the bowlers if you wanted to bowl the slower deliveries. If you're bowling spin, you got plenty of revs on the ball and you're prepared to flight it, you're going to get plenty of turns. So there was enough in the wicket there for spinners to really take charge and fast bowlers to use their varieties. But I think when scores are getting up to 250 and beyond on a consistent basis, I just think things are getting out of hand, and I'm just starting to think that we don't want it that the ball's going out of the park every couple of balls, because at the end of the day, we want bowlers to be, or we want young kids to be excited about taking up bowling. We don't want bowlers to become ball machines in T20 cricket. Would you agree, Wifey? I think you're on mute. No, we've lost you there, mate. Thanks very much, Wifey, for joining us. I'll have a chat when we get offline now. It just seems as though we've lost a little bit of connection with the voice there. But thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. I'm going for CSK tonight on their home turf. They need to turn things around and stay in the competition. And I think Sunrisers Hyderabad will be chasing around about 190. But I think the Chennai Super Kings bowlers will get early wickets, and Sunrisers Hyderabad will be well short in the run chase. But let's wait and see. I haven't had the best of weekends at the moment. I think I've only got 2 right out of 3. But thanks very much. Enjoy the final game of the weekend, and hopefully your team gets in the final 4.